Nice to see Creative Assembly put out a hotfix, although it does mean I had to roll back to the 5.3.0 for a bunch of these replays that I had been sitting on. This one in particular, real quick, got some Vanguard shenanigans going on, was submitted by Ronan, specifically saying that you should never give up, even if you make a pretty extreme blunder. So basically what's happened here is his opponent Vanguard deployed all behind him, and because he has his formation in a locked group, when he goes to turn around, that is going to bunch up a lot of his units here in the center in a big kind of chaotic mass here, basically on the level of Chaos Spawn in terms of chaotic mass. And yeah, it is an unfortunate thing that happens often. You have your units in a hard group and tell them to turn around, they will go all over the place. And as a result, he's gonna be in pretty bad position. An absolutely huge flock of doom here that's gonna do thousands of damage in a second as these Chameleon Stalkers close the distance. Although, I will say, the Chameleon Stalkers too kind of waste their ammunition immediately on Orion. We've also got Gelbloom's Terror here with Vanguard, Popopox, Cohort, Nakai. Now with Vanguard, Colostodon Hunters, we've got regular Ripperdactyls and some regular Skink Skirmishers as well out on the flanks here. For the Wood Elves, this unholy mass now consists of several units of Glade Guards with Hagbane Tips and Starfire Shafts. Looks like nice mix. Got some Dryads here. We've got some Eternal Guards, more over there. Yeah, looks like a couple of Glade Rider Spears. Hard to tell exactly, but Orion at least is going to be the true Chad that he is and hold back the line momentarily. He also kind of sacrifices some Glade Rider Spears, get his formation sorted out momentarily. You can see he kind of just like hard paths all the archers back in their own groups, so things are getting sorted out slowly but surely. But in the meantime, my Elves are definitely taking some serious damage as the Chameleon Stalkers closes distance. Played very nicely with those Eternal Guards. And Lizardmen also have a little bit of a hill advantage. They kind of charge down from it, but they're still in a pretty commanding position here overall, given the discombobulation on the part of Ronan. But it's mostly got things sorted now. He's got his archers at least in a line where they can start firing into various engagements. Thankfully for, wow, that one Skink Priest. Yeah, thankfully for him, the Starfire Shafts, Glade Guard in general, can fire while advancing, so as long as they have a unit behind them to shoot at, but also pretty good focus fire. Let's see, up close, Nakai is going to eat some armor-piercing arrows from the Starfire Shafts, doing some massive damage to Orion. Definitely has had to tank the front line momentarily. Now has to pull back and rely on that Cloak of Isha to try and keep himself alive. Speaking of keeping it alive, let's check in. Where's the branch, buddy? Branch Wraith is over here. Looking pretty good. Melkos and Earthblood. Definitely very efficient damage and healing. See, gonna watch for that healing template to pop up in various spots, but right now Skink Skirmishers putting in some more fire. Popopox Cohort has taken some substantial damage. There is quite a bit of anti-large, of course, from this elf build. But yeah, the archers mostly have been dealt with, although a few units still quite healthy with basically all their unit models online, or at least a pretty good amount of them. And as a result, Gelbloom, you know, yeah, a little bit of an odd charge there from the Ripperdactyls as they try and get on the ground to fight those Blade Guards there. But Gelbloom getting taken out. Carnossaurs don't have a lot of HP when it comes to big anti-large monsters, and especially facing this kind of concentrated Hellfire. Missile responsiveness, especially missile infantry responsiveness, is one of the things in the game kind of dictates often actually how good a missile unit's performance will be, kind of outside of a lot of its other stats. Elven archers tend to be some of the most responsive in terms of, you know, the speed with which they can turn, you know, acquire their targets, start actually shooting. They have really good line of sight as well. They tend not to get blocked very easily. They can always fire at an arc if they need to, and just generally, yeah, Blade Guards especially, but just Elven archers in general. This goes for, you know, High Elves especially, and Wood Elves. Less so for Dark Elves. They're less accurate because of their kind of scattershot crossbows, but still, Elven accuracy is definitely a thing. Total War Warhammer. Especially when it comes to bowmen, and not only the accuracy, but again, just kind of the responsiveness, the fact that Blade Guards can turn and shoot very quickly. Of course, a lot of Wood Elf missile infantry, that being the Deepwood Scouts, And the Way Watchers can shoot 360s. They don't even need to turn and shoot. They can just keep shooting. But, yeah. Blade Guard's definitely having a tough time here. And it is still basically anyone's game at this point. The Lizardmen have managed to chase off and deal with a lot of Elven troops, although we do have some low leadership units coming back for another fight here. Handful of skinks still fighting, and some pretty healthy rippers also that should be able to tear apart most of the units that remain. Excuse me. I'm getting some early winter allergies here as the temperature drops rapidly where I live. But yeah, with Nakai off the field and not really a lot of great tools for dealing with Orion, the Chad himself is looking like he's in pretty good position to try and carry this late game. Thing about Cloak of Isha is you really have to have a lot of burst damage to get through it, especially like single entity, you know, versus single entity damage, like another anti-large or just high weapon strength single entity in general. Obviously, Nakai is done. He's gone, getting chased off by some Dryads. And yeah, Skink Skirmishers don't really have enough ammo, let alone enough bursts. Speaking of accuracy, don't have a lot of it. Can hit pretty well, but you see there, especially at the distance, those other Skink Skirmishers, they don't land a ton of their shots. And just generally have a harder time firing at a smaller single entity. That one Popox cohort's a true champ, just runs in and gets absolutely KO'd. Yeah, at this point the terror is starting to take hold. Orion started to take control of this battle. With the Lord recently fled, penalty to leadership, the Skinks especially will be quite susceptible to routing. Yeah, I can see not even in melee, and they're just basically already wanting to run for their lives. So we'll fast forward through this late game as Ronan cleans up. Definitely looked like an absolute disaster for him there at the beginning, but managed to pull it back. And basically in his message, he said you should never quit, even if you make an absolutely what is seemingly a catastrophic blunder. And ended up being a pretty close game. You know, credit to Tequila Sunset, also played that pretty well for the most part, and had a nice kind of all-in Vanguard strategy. I love it, to be honest. Yeah, Skink Skirmishers going to be super cost-effective here for the most part, and Ripperdactyls also get some pretty good value there. Clawstone Hunters, maybe not quite so much, and this is maybe where the build falls a little bit short, is these elite kind of Vanguard regiments of renown aren't really don't end up paying for themselves just in terms of raw costs. Hard to say really what you should bring here, because I mean tactically they're all kind of nice to have, but I think yeah, maybe just lacking overall in some depth. Hard to say. I mean obviously if the Wood Elves have like a lot of cavalry or other units, the anti-large could certainly be useful, but just given the matchup I think you can definitely expect mass archers here. So maybe you just trade all these out for more anti-infantry rippers, since they seem to be very effective here. And, I mean, like 3 more anti-infantry rippers, and the archers definitely would have had a real bad time. I mean, it doesn't really help much with the problem of Orion, but maybe lets you dedicate some other resources to him. Skiing Priest definitely also got some massive value on some disgusting Flocks of Doom, so huge value there. But Ronan able to fight back. Orion kind of carrying the late game, but it was a pretty good all-in team win. One Triad, 116 kills, 900 value. That's absolutely awesome. Then the archers are going to get some pretty good value as well. 1,000, 700 on a couple there. This one's, what, 1,100? Yeah, 600 there. So archers definitely paying for themselves. That's why you bring so many. Definitely can sustain some losses and still have enough volume of fire and enough damage to get it done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.